see no color, you see no gender, you find the good in everyone. It means to be given, to be of service, to be the voice of the one who's unable to speak for themselves.
You give time, emotions, your hours, and anything that you can help with out there to make the community better.
Authentic, honest, bold, and moving all the time.
She's decisive. She speaks her mind, but she speaks it with empathy and compassion. She makes a difference in others' lives. She makes a difference in her own life. And she's not afraid to admit when she's made a mistake either.
Michelle Obama. I think that she is a woman full of happiness, a woman that is confident about who she is, knows where she's going in life, and knows what she wants.
I think it would have been John F. Kennedy. I would have loved to sit down with him. He was the person that had an idea of America for the Americas. He was one that was looking at the continent as a whole.
My grandfather. He passed away a few years ago, and he was one of the most important people in my life. From a very young age, he used to always tell me, one day, Inger, you are going to grow up and run my paint company. And this is at a time when most men didn't believe in women being huge leaders. And my grandfather was probably one of my biggest supporters.
My best friend was Anna. And unfortunately, last year, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And she lost her battle in October. She was just so brave. Her favorite time of the day was when the sun set. She would tell me to open the drapes, and she would sit by the window, and she would look up and look at the sunset. And she would say, you know, this is God's gift for me today, seeing the sun.
John Garner, who was the guru as it relates to leadership. But to me, it was bigger than the leadership. It was being able to sit at the feet of someone to learn what does it mean to really go into the world and say your piece, but be good at what you think you're good at, and yet doing it with humility.
It would be my husband. He is such a wonderful man. He makes me laugh. He's so supportive. And every time I talk to him, I learn something. And that is so wonderful to be able to say, gosh, I didn't know that. And I just enjoy every moment that we have together.
The most influential person in my life is my mother. She grew up in rural poverty with a single parent, her mother, who was a teacher, who worked to make ends meet, and she was extremely selfless and would give the shirt off her back to a stranger.
My core family group. So it starts with my dad, my mother, who's the family's glue. I have my wonderful husband who grounds me. And then I have two beautiful children, Gabrielle and William, who are my 20th century navigators.
My mother, I had great parents. My father was a lawyer, he was a writer, and he was a politician. So during the Marcos regime in the Philippines, the dictatorship, he was incarcerated as a political prisoner. And so my mother, who has always been a housewife and a politician's wife, all of a sudden had to be the sole breadwinner of the family of 5 small children. And, she turned her passion for collecting antiques into, business.
I consider myself a 50-50 person. My dad gave me the 50% of entrepreneur. He was definitely has been my role model my entire life when it comes to business, being the person that I am today when it comes to my career. And obviously my mom, for sure. She's been my role model for what a wonderful mom should be like. a wonderful wife and sister and family member.
My family has had the greatest impact on my life. My mother was very strong. She was an educator. My father was really a dear, sweet man. And my husband and his family have really been wonderful to me. I grew up in North Carolina, and that has just made the transition to living in Florida these past 30 years so easy and seamless. And I have my adopted community here of Jacksonville. I just absolutely love it.
I really enjoy time alone.
That I secretly always wanted to be a singer. I thought with my name it might read well, but I have the worst voice in history.
When I co-piloted a private plane with Tom Watson, who was chairman and CEO of IBM, and I had never flown any private aircraft, and when he realized that, he decided at 76 he would fly the airplane, and I was his co-pilot. And he reached over as we were taxiing down this short runway, and I was about to have a heart attack, and asked me if I'd like some gum for my ears. And he handed out the Bazooka Joe gum, and I tore it down the middle and put it in my ears. And he looked at me, he goes, "Whatever works for you," and gunned it, and off we went.
I am the only person in my family to graduate from college.
Teaching myself to dance, but choreographic dancing. I dream of the day when I will be sitting, playing drums, dressed in white, and eventually I will get up on stage and start dancing to the tune of one particular song.
I had the incredible opportunity to be the first woman to have the kind of experience that I have had in doing philanthropy internationally. And in 33 different countries, I learned 5 different languages.
I love to dance, and I had a great opportunity to compete in Jacksonville's Dancing with the Stars to benefit the Jacksonville Children's Chorus. And you know what? I won!
Coach,
Impatient,
Caring,
Driven,
happy,
devoted,
Courageous.
Passionate.
Unfinished.
Sensitive.
Compassionate.